Hello everyone and welcome back to the Silicon Nubian YouTube channel where we're all about things tech. Following a few urgings and suggestions by people in this channel and outside, I decided to make a video about the latest release of MX Linux. MX Linux 17, also known as Horizon, a very popular Linux distribution and rightfully so. This is a Debian-based lightweight distribution based on Debian, as I've said before. This one is based, I believe, on Debian 9.3, and the desktop is XFCE 4.12 out of the box. Very lightweight distribution, yet not very lightweight on applications. A lot more custom apps in this one, developed by the MX Linux developers themselves. The 4.13 kernel is included for both 32 and 64-bit ISO images. Yes, one of the dwindling number of Linux distributions that still come out and release 32-bit images. The 32-bit kernel has PAE for RAM usage above 4 gigabytes. And it's pretty easy in this Linux distribution to swap kernels for others as you see fit. It's based on, again, Debian 9.3, XFCE 4.12.3, and has all the features antics, as MX Linux is a kind of cross between Antix, Mepis, and one or two others which I fail to remember right now. It's a solid distribution, so let's take a look. This is directly post-install as customary. Installation was done in a virtual machine, and I did update the distribution after installation. So here we go. We have the welcome screen. We can go quickly to the user manual, the wiki, the tools, tweak, forums, videos, contribute, and popular apps. So if we go to tools, we'll see that right away the MX tools pop up. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Conky is running over here. We'll get into that as well. If we go to tweak, your current panel settings have been backed up in a hidden folder called .restore. You click OK, and then you can tweak certain things with respect to the panel and how things are displayed on the screen. So that's our MX welcome screen that comes up as we boot up. A lot of good things in here. We can go to the user manual, we can go to the wiki. A lot of good information here. MXM, it's in a PDF file. We can view a lot of different things about this manual. We can see installation, configuration, basic use, software management. Pretty well done. I like that a lot. We can go to the wiki, which launches the web browser, which, by the way, is Mozilla Firefox, and it is the latest version. Let's go to help, and we'll go about Firefox. Yes, Firefox Quantum 57.0.2 64-bit. This is the 64-bit ISO that we are looking at right now that I got downloaded and installed here. So this is the 64-bit version of MX Linux 17. We can see that it's right here. Very good. Really liking Quantum a lot on Windows desktops, and to see it on a Linux desktop as well is just a plus. So it's there. That's the default browser. So let's get out of here and look at a few more things. As we can see, the desktop is very pleasing, as in the style of MX Linux. We can see that the launch bar with all the other things here are on the left side of the screen, but this, of course, is the user can change it to how they want it. Conky, which is basically a little display with some information running here. I find it's very tastefully done. Some branding down here. We have the time. We have how much hard drive space is used, how much memory. We can see that 299 megs sitting at a blank desktop with 0 CPU usage. Lightweight, definitely it is. Most definitely. Right-clicking on a desktop anywhere will bring up a good number of things that we can do. Open a new window, open in a new window, create launcher, create URL, run command. We can open the terminal here, of course. Okay, so that's a good thing. Ownership to root. Interesting. We could change ownership of things or folders if we open this up. Ownership to user, find files, create symlinks, arrange desktop icons and desktop settings. And here we can go to desktop settings right away. So if we want to do things like, for example, change our desktop background, we can just click and it's instantaneous. Instantaneous. Very good. Very nice. You can see how quickly that's done in real time. I really am a fan of the real-time changes instead of having to hit apply and then, you know, that extra step. There is no extra step. You can see right away if you like it or not. We also have settings for menus, and we have icon settings, including icon size, icon type, and use custom font size and whatnot, and what icons are on. Right now, there's nothing on the desktop. Real time. There we go. Home, file system, trash, removable drives. So those things can be added to the desktop quite easily, and once they're on the desktop, they're mobile, so you can move them around. I usually like the trash icon over here, but here we are. Now here is the default file manager, and we can see it's Thunar 1.6.12. Very fast, easy to use file manager for the XFCE desktop environment. Very capable, nothing wrong here. It's a thumbs up. Home, we just get to the home. Your home folder, of course, again with Thunar File Manager, and we can see that there are some pre-configured folders and they all make sense. There's a desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, templates, and videos. And of course, you can add whatever you want. This being Linux, of course. So that's what we get with the right-click. Applications, again, many ways to skin a cat. Many ways to get from A to B in Linux. You can either use the program launcher here, which is a little bit more feature complete, and we'll go through that in a minute. Or you can just launch applications from right-clicking and setting, going into all the things that you need. There you go. So, as you can tell, just from me clicking around, performance is stellar. And I'll probably mention that a few times. Clicking on the clock, we have the calendar. I like how very good, so that shows up. We can deal with the calendar if we want. We can do things with it, create events and whatnot. And orange panel, which is what it's called. We have the properties. Here we have the properties, the orange clock preferences. We can change, of course, the width, the height, and all the other things that we look about with respect to that. Although XFCE can be considered a very lightweight graphic user environment, it's by no means feature starved. It's actually quite feature full and one of my favorite desktop environments by far. Okay, let's continue. So we have some preset app icons right here. Of course, we have Firefox Quantum. We have the file manager that we saw as Thunar. There it goes right away. We have the package manager, which is Synaptic. Being Debian based, you'd think, yes, it would be there, and it is there. So we have Synaptic Package Manager as our main package manager. We have a clipboard. Clipit 1.4.2. Every OS that I've used, I search for a clipboard manager. I find them very useful, and I use the clipboard extensively. Here we have, of course, the network settings, wired connection, disconnect, of course, create VPN connections and whatnot. Right-clicking on any icon may give us extra options. For example, right-clicking on the network icon gives us a few other things. And here, Network Manager Applet. Right-clicking on the icon that brought up the Synaptic Package Manager gives us interesting things, including check for updates, and that's linked to the MX Updater. Here we go, which is a CLI based updater, but it's good to know that it's there. And it's going to look for stuff for updates to packages in the system. And it didn't find anything, so that's good. Oh, 10 new updates available. Look at that. It did find. And then it would tell you, and then you'd go into the process and get that done. Very good. Here we have sound, of course, the volume control. And if we right-click, we can open up the mixer. and we can see the mixer right here. Very good. Now we have another applet. This is a power manager. So XFCE power manager, we have settings. When the power button is pressed, we can tell what to do, the sleep mode when inactive. We can lock the screen, turn off the screen, blank after 10 minutes, put to sleep 10, 50. We can change that. Obviously, you'd want to go in and change that to your liking. And here we have a removable device. We can mount or unmount them. So there we go. Open the trash. Of course, trash is just another folder, but it's a very special folder, of course, as you would know. So let's continue. Let's click now on the main launcher. So we have the favorites, run a program, Conky. We can turn off the display up here. We can either turn it off and it's gone, or we can just as easily turn it back on, and there it is. We have LibreOffice, very good. We'll get into that soon. We have the user manual. We have a task manager that shows everything that's going on, and we can easily just stop, terminate, kill. We can get priority to certain things, threads that are sleeping, awake, memory usage, and whatnot. Pretty good. XFCE terminal. Let's check what kernel. I have done updates, so let's see if anything has changed. And yes, we are still running the Linux MX1 4.13.0-1 64-bit SMP Debian kernel 4.13.13. So pretty current. Most current hardware should be supported quite easily. Okay, so let's continue. Let's look around at what we have here. Here we have the settings, and they're quite a lot. We can do everything, and this is great for new users who don't necessarily feel comfortable, at least at this time, with the CLI, the command line interface. So we can do things such as about me, appearance. We can file manager, preferences, even notifications, MX tweak. We can tweak certain things about MX Linux, themes. We can choose a theme set, compositor, and other things. Fantastic. MX system sounds. We can hear that. Right. We can change the sounds and do things there. We have MX tools. MX tools is a whole other thing we're going to get to a little bit later. MX tweak, of course, preferred application, screensaver, orange preferences for the panel here. Also mixer, then we get into the hardware section, display, MX device mounter, mouse and touchpad, network connections, removable devices, printer settings. That brings up your typical printer, add printer, dialog box, pulse audio volume control system, alternatives configurator. Interesting. Not exactly a tool to help administrators select which programs provide specific services for the user by default. Interesting. Okay. Grub customizer. Right. Advanced options, submenus, and whatnot. We can change the behavior of Grub or the look and feel of it. Gparted is included. You want to add a drive, you want to change partitions, do things, you have it right here. Disk manager, there we go. Firewall configuration, Samba, if you want to set up Samba, shares and whatnot. Windows with Windows machines or just on a network in general. Windows session and startup, Windows wireless drivers, Adobe Flash Player, something that's on its way out. And Open JDK Java policy tool, and we have the settings editor right here. So there's a lot of things there that we have that we can configure without necessarily having to drop to the command line, which is great. Let's take a look at MX Tools. MX Tools is very interesting. These are, I would think, tools developed that came from the MX Linux developers directly. So we have Live USB Maker. That's great. You can configure the system the way you like it, set it up, and then create a live USB with it. That's very good for if you want to take something on the go that feels comfortable. Also, MX Linux, I believe, can give you up to 20 or so. I'm not sure, but it gives you a large amount of persistence that you can, so that if you can even run it from a flash drive, and yet all the changes you've made during your session will remain. That's fantastic if you're going on vacation and you want to take this with you. You're going to hotels or you're going somewhere and you want to be able to boot this up and get this to work and have your desktop as you wish. If you're using computers elsewhere for a family, you've gone somewhere else to other family, you want to get work done. We can take a snapshot of system. We have boot repair, menu editor, user manager, Conky again, which is here, system sounds, codecs installer. This application allows you to install restricted codecs that permit advanced video and audio functions. In some jurisdictions, their distribution may be limited, so the user must meet local regulations. Do you assume legal responsibility for downloading these codecs? And you go OK, and the codecs will be installed. Just like that. Fantastic. NVIDIA driver installer, if you are a user of an NVIDIA video card. Select sound, which allows you to select which sound card if you have multiple sound cards. Install the welcome screen, which we saw. Tweak, we saw. Network assistant. Checked app. This is for PGP keys. 4 keys from repositories. Package installer. And this is another one. This is MX Package Installer, another app. And here things are by category, and I have a number of things you can install. For example, if I wanted to install Audacious, I could just click install, and it would run apt-get in the background. Pop up a CLI window, of course. And do you want to continue? And there you go. Everything's installed. And they have a pretty good selection of software. So you can choose different browsers. They have Chromium, Firefox is installed, which is the latest. Google Chrome, NetSurf, Opera, one of my faves, Pale Moon, Cupzilla, SlimJet. For audio, we saw what they have there. Server, local web server, Apache, PHP, MariaDB, database. Themes, screencast. We have OBS Studio you can easily install. Record my desktop, simple screen recorder. Printing, HP printing extras. Office, we have AbiWord, Adobe Reader, Calibre. A lot of good things. Very nice little app here. And here's the full app catalog. Please select repo to load. You can either load from the stable repo, the test repo, Debian backports repo, and it will load everything. So that's pretty cool in my opinion that you have that there. Here we have the repo manager, so you can actually select the repo either closest to you or the more complete repo, which you feel, whatever, and it's all here. For example, if you're in Greece, you have Crete, Ecuador, Italy, New Zealand, Sweden, Taiwan, Netherlands, 2 in the States. Those are MX repos. Then you have the Debian repos, and you have individual sources. So that's pretty extensive stuff. So iDevice Mounter. This is designed for iPads and iPhones. So you can mount them and actually use them in this environment, Linux environment. Quick System Info. Tells you everything about your system. Well, not everything, but enough. Gives you a good idea of what's going on here and the versions and whatnot. So that's pretty good. And so I think that what they've done to developers, if they've really worn 2 hats very nicely. They've worn the hat of the new user, and I'll get into that right now. So who is MX Linux for? I think it's good for everybody, in my opinion. I think it's one of the more feature complete, easy to get into, yet has enough powerful features that even hardcore power users would love. Remember, it is based on Debian, and they don't hide their Debian heritage at all. Yet, with all the tools that have been created, not all of them, I'd say, are for the newbie. A lot of them are for moderate and advanced Linux users. But you can get a lot done in MX Linux, and the performance is stellar. Let's look a little bit more at the apps that come installed. So we'll look at system apps. So we have bulk rename, configurator, alternatives configurator, ADSL, PPOE, G-Smart Control, Monitor Control, Smart Data, H-Top. So we can show all that. System processes, we can kill process if needed. Disk Manager, we saw Lucky Backup. Midnight Commander's there, so we have another great file manager right there. It's more than just a file manager. I think calling Midnight Commander file manager is actually belittling it a little bit. MX switch user, MX USB mounter, a lot of MX specific tools. Printer, cups, of course, printer settings is here, root terminal, sensor viewer, synaptic package manager, lots of stuff here, people, lots of stuff. When we go into settings, we can see we've already seen most of them when we clicked over here and bring them all up, so I won't go through all of those too much. Office, we can see we have LibreOffice installed. Fantastic. And we can see it's version 5.4.1.2.0 plus. Well, getting a little extreme in the naming here, but very good. So we have the full LibreOffice suite. I applaud them for that. And we have a few other things, Orange Calendar, Global Time, there's a PDF viewer. So we have a calendar as we saw before, and a few other tools. MX tools, we saw a lot of them, of course. That's another thing about MX Linux that I like, how MX Linux does it, but not necessarily in other distributions, in that there's so many avenues to get to one place. Yet in MX Linux, it just seems to flow a lot better. I mean, we've seen all these when we go into here and we go to MX Tools, it's there as well. They're all here. Yet, you know, depending on how you get at it, you all reach the same place. I just like how they do it. It's done well. Okay. Multimedia. Now that's pretty loaded. We have Alson Mixer, Audacious, which I installed. Just showed you how I installed that. Clementine, pretty much hands down my favorite media player in Linux. Your mileage may vary. I just like Clementine. MTP client for MP3 players. GMTP, of course, here for your video review and capture of devices such as webcams and whatnot. Pulse audio volume control. SM2, browse and search YouTube videos from YouTube. So let's see something. Nice. Interesting. And it plays it. Wow. Beautiful. So basically a YouTube browser and video player. Very nice. And it's playing it fine. Okay. So, looks like the X won't go away. Interesting. Oh well. So we run multimedia, MX Tweak, MX User Manager, sorry, multimedia. VLC media players included, XF Burn is there. Internet, we have GNOME PPP for dial-up. Does anybody still use dial-up? Anyways, I digress. Firefox, HexChat, Thunderbird Mail. We can add to the desktop very easily, of course. So Thunderbird is our mail application of choice, and I have no problem with that at all. I use it in the Windows platform as well. Transmission, graphics, we have GIMP, scanning software with LibreOffice Draw and Nomax, which is an image viewer. Very good. Okay, games, Libre Breakout, L Breakout, sorry, 2 Hearts, Chrome MBSU, Scrolling Space Shooter, PEG-E. Not a big fan of these low quality games. I am a gamer and I prefer AAA titles, let's just put it like that. Accessories, Application Finder, Bulk Rename, Catfish Search, Clipit, which we saw before, Featherpad, very quick launching, simple text editor. Of course, lots of stuff here, folks. Again, MX Updater, re-enable MX Updater icon even if there's no updates. Password and keys, we have a password manager, screenshot, sensor viewer, XF burn. So that's it. So let's go down again. MX Linux is impressive. It's not just impressive, it's something that I think everybody should really take a look at. This could be a daily driver. It is based on Debian, has a great community behind it, and tons of great software. All of it works well. It's for everyone. I think it's for brand newbies who come in. Some, though, may be overwhelmed with the selection. That's another thing. This isn't one of those, okay, we're going to give you the bare minimum and allow you to build it by yourself kind of distributions. This is more of the, you know what, we're just going to give you everything. And run with it, roll with it, do what you need to do out of the box. Out of the box experience is quite good. I love MX Linux. I think it's fantastic. And version 17 is not a big leap from the past version, the version prior, but it is a maturing of which is already a fantastic Linux distribution. Something that I would recommend that if you're into Linux and really want to check out what's going on, give it a try. In particular, if you're running slightly older hardware, MX Linux could make it an enviable machine once again. Running all the latest software, and its performance is stellar. Even on older systems, I've had it running on Pentium 4s. Just give it enough RAM, 2 to 4 gigs of RAM, and you're good to go. And you have a completely serviceable Linux distribution, a completely serviceable computer, able to do anything you want it to do other than high-end gaming. If you're just into general computing, this is a fantastic Linux distribution that you should not turn a blind eye to. Give it a try. So that's it. Check us out. If you're into building PCs and PC hardware, we have PC Construction Zone, which is our Facebook group. We also have another Facebook group, Technology and Computer Enthusiasts, for general computer talk, and news, and reviews. And we have our more corporate site, Silicon Nubian. Thanks for watching. I keep mentioning this. We have a fantastic build update, my second personal PC update. PC that I use. Generally have 2 computers in the office, bounce between them. This is my daily driver. The build is coming up within a week to a week and a half, guaranteed this time, folks, and it's going to be right here on this channel. Take care. Tell others about Silicon Nubian, and we'll see you soon.